Hey friends, okay, so today's video I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is marriage and how to be an awesome wife to your husband. I think all of us probably think of ways that our husband could be an awesome husband to us. But I think it's really important to be self-aware of our part in the relationship and giving to our spouse the best that we can, being a biblical wife and just loving our spouse where they are and perfecting ourselves as we go forward. So I just wrote down some ideas to maybe help you. Maybe you're struggling in marriage right now. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my marriage. I think Eric would say the same thing. There are times that we've struggled. There are times that we are just in a great season. I would say the majority of the time we've been in a great season, but there are times where, you know, there's spiritual warfare. That I cannot tell you enough, like how much Satan wants to destroy marriages and families. And so there, it is like we're on a battleground with our spouse and stuff. So it's something to think about. Like, even though like it's so romanticized, it is like we're in this spiritual fight in our marriage. So these are just some ideas that I jotted down that has helped my marriage, and hopefully that blesses you and it'll help yours. I would love to hear what helps you, because I know everybody's so different. Every marriage is different, every personality is different, different temperaments. So that is something to keep in mind, is all of that. You know your spouse the best. And so anyway, these are the things that I've noticed has made a big difference in my marriage. So the first one is to show affection, even in public, especially in front of your kids. I have heard, and I think this is so true, I've heard it say that the best gift you can give to your children is to love your spouse. And I think that is so true, to like for your children to know that mom and dad love each other and that they enjoy being together and that they smile when they are together. I think that gives them security within them. I think that there's so much truth in that. My parents were divorced, so I never really saw that. Thankfully, my mother married a really awesome, wonderful man, but it like there is something to that, I will say. So show affection, you know, hold his hand in public. I'm not saying make out or anything like that in public, but I am saying like it's good to like want to be near your spouse and to hold their hand and to, you know, rub their arm and to, you know, all of those things. Like, it's good. It's good. And I think that makes them feel like, oh, like she's not afraid to show that she loves me in front of other people. Okay, the second one is, I would say that a huge thing is comparing yourselves to each other. So kind of a tit for tat, like, well, I woke up with the kids late last night, and so you need to make us all breakfast. Or, you know, like when you have like a relationship like that, it's never going to be equal. It's never gonna even out, and it's just not healthy. I think that we should look at marriage differently. We should be like, what can I give to better this marriage? And think of the ways that we can give to our spouse, and not in a way that we're a doormat or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I think that, you know, it's important for our spouse to see us and to, you know, acknowledge our feelings and the way that we are. Like, I think that's very important. But I do think that there's a holiness to self-giving and not expecting something back. Obviously in marriage you're hoping to get something back, you know, like I think that's normal, that's human nature, and we should want that, but not expecting it back. So I think it is important just to give, and usually naturally what will happen is your spouse will be so grateful that they will naturally want to give back to you. That's just kind of human nature. Like, if you give and you're joyful, like usually your spouse will give and they'll like acknowledge, you know, they'll be joyful too. You know, does that make sense? So instead of being like, I did this, you need to do this, think of, how can I give? How can I honor him? How can I love him? And then naturally he will want to do that back for you. I think also respecting our husbands, respect what they have to say. I think sometimes we as women, we have an idea already in our head of what we want to do, and we go through it and our husband just goes along with it instead of being like, what do you think of this? Like, what are your thoughts? Having a connection, doing it together instead of I'm the leader, I will do this, and you must follow in order to make me happy. Like that, like you want a relationship. You don't want another child. I've heard so many, and this just like, every time I hear it, women say, oh, he's my third child or whatever. And I'm like, what? Like, no. Like, he should not be a child. And if he is, then you need to help rise him up to be the man that he is supposed to be. A man is supposed to be the head of the family. And for Eric, he's always been the head of the family. I would say spiritually, he was not the head of the family for a long time. And it wasn't until I did the 33 Days to Morning Glory that changed. And I truly believe that it was through that consecration that Mary helped our family. But he's always been the head, and he has a personality where he would let me get away with what I wanted if I really wanted to, like, but I don't want that type of relationship. That's not a healthy relationship. And same with him, like, he shouldn't be that way either. Like, you are a partnership, you are in love. Like, this is what a holy relationship looks like. And maybe you're in a stage where like that's not it, and you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, that I encourage you, it's okay to go ask a Christian counselor to help you. Like, I personally think there's nothing wrong with getting counseling. I think that's good. And you know, there's been times in our marriage that we've talked about getting it. We've got past the hard stages that we never did, but I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about or, you know, ashamed of, because that just means that you love that person and you want it to work out. So I just encourage you to build each other up, and for you to do the best you can to be an amazing wife, and hopefully that will build your husband up to be an amazing husband. Another thing that I've actually had to really work on, and I think Eric has too, is to be interested in what the other person is interested in. And I think that this is something that both Eric and I struggle with because we are so different. He is very much a man. He loves football. He loves working out, lifting heavy weights. He loves, you know, all these things that I could care less about, to be honest. And I'm the opposite. Like, I love girly things. I love, you know, putting together outfits. I love doing the girls' hair. You know, things that obviously he could care less about. I love baking. I love cooking. I love being a homemaker. We actually have very, very little in common. In fact, when we both did like that personality test where, I don't know, it's a long test, and at the end it tells you which personality you are. Like, we are literally the polar opposites. Like, I'm like that fun-loving, like easygoing person, and he is like very straight and narrow, you know. And so it's kind of funny because I was like, did we marry the wrong person? Like, I literally was like, oh no. I think we're married like, I don't know, like 4 years at this time. We've been married 14 years, by the way, but at the time I think it was 4 years, and I just like had this like, oh no, like, did we marry the wrong person? I said that to him. He's like, no, Heather, like, we love each other. Like, we are so good for each other. We opposite attract, you know. And I was like, oh yeah. Like, so it was just kind of like one of those things. We really have very little in common. So I'll try to like watch a Notre Dame football game with him. I will, you know, try to like get involved like with his, you know, workouts. We've never worked out together because he's very like, he should probably do that as a profession, is like working out, and like he knows a lot, and I do it all wrong, so I just would rather not work out with him. But maybe someday, maybe we'll work out together, and I think he would love it. But I feel like the whole time I'd be like, he is judging how I'm doing a squat or whatever it is. So anyway, little look inside my marriage. So what is your husband's job? What does he like? What movies does he like? What do you like? You know, like, maybe he won't come over to your side, but maybe you could compromise and go to his side. And okay, you like watching documentaries of World War II. All right, let's do this. Whatever it is. My friend I have a friend who, her husband's really into documentaries on the different wars. So I understand because could care less. She doesn't really want to know. Another thing is to build your husband up. So I think sometimes women can get together and just like tear down our husbands, like, oh, I can't believe he did this and this and this, and that is so unhealthy to kind of tear down your husband, or even right in front of him. I have seen that, and there are little things that I've like, I said something and I was like, oh, like why did I say that, you know, like pointing out their flaws. But you should be your spouse's biggest cheerleader, and though that affirmation will take you miles. Like, could you imagine having a cheerleader in your house with you all the time? Like, that's what everybody wants. Everyone wants a cheerleader. Like, wow, thank you so much for taking the boys to soccer. Like, that meant so much to me. Affirming them, building them up, like that is so huge in marriage. And it might not come naturally to you, but I just encourage you to like write it all down, like, and put it on your mirror, or, you know, put it in your wallet and remind yourself of the ways to love your spouse. You know, we all like the 5 love languages: gifts, physical touch, affirmation, quality time, and what's the other one? Gift giving? I thought I already said that one. But mine is definitely quality time. Like, I want to go on dates. Like, I want to go on a picnic. I just want to be with him. And we have kids around us all the time. I'm like, I just want to be with you. Like, I'm still 14 years later, I just love being near my husband. Like, we'll go to my in-laws house and, you know, our whole family's around, and I'm always like, where's Eric? I just want to stand next to him. Like, there's something so comforting. I just love being around him, and he feels the same way. Like, it's kind of like, it's not like he moves away when I come, but I literally got to marry my best friend. And like, friendships, you need to foster that. You need to continue to love them and grow and see the good in that person. So anyway, so those are some things that I think really have helped my marriage, and hopefully they will help your marriage. And you might be saying, my spouse will never do any of these. I just encourage you to be the best version you can for your spouse, even if it's been 20 years. Like, it's okay. There's a movie called Fireproof, and it's all about that. Like, just like loving your spouse even when they don't show it back. And I just encourage you to watch it. It's so good. It's like a Christian movie, but it's really well done, produced very well. And so I just encourage you to watch that, maybe even with your spouse. That movie has actually helped so many people in their marriages. Kirk Cameron is in it, and anyway, it's a little bit cheesy, I'm not gonna lie, but it is so good. It's all about like having a good, healthy marriage, and it's about a marriage that wasn't healthy. And you know, I think it was the husband who knew his wife like wanted to leave, and he like fought for their marriage. It's so good. And so I just encourage you to watch that together. It's called Fireproof. I'll link it down below. I think it's on Formed, but you can buy it. But it's really good. And so if you feel alone, just watch that, and I think it'll help all marriages. It's so good. So anyway, I hope that this video helped you, and let's go be saints by loving our spouses and just being there for them, being positive, joyful around them, towards them. And that's all I have for today. Until next time, I will see you all later. God bless. Bye.